Hi, my name is Annie Lobert with Annie's Pink Chair, and I'm a survivor champion from the adult entertainment industry. You're about to experience a chair, a conversation, and a change, because with God, all things are possible. Hi, friends. It's Annie from Annie's Pink Chair, and I am so wonderfully excited, full of joy today. Isn't it a great day to be alive? Admit it, okay? I don't know where you are in the country right now, but maybe it's sunny, maybe it's cloudy. It doesn't matter. What matters is you are alive and you're breathing. Now, remember this. Here's why we're here. Because we're here because we bring a chair to sit down in. We start a conversation and a change happens in the heart. And that's what this whole show is about. And I want to invite you to come a little closer, my friend. Come a little closer. I want to tell you a story. I have someone so special and unique today that I need you to know. I need you to know this person. And I want you to look her up because she is not just a woman of God. She is a champion and she's a warrior. And not only that, I'm just going to kind of like say this because this is part of what she does. She is a queen in this space. And I'm telling you, my friend Tina Dixon's in the house.
Hey. Hey, y'all.
Hey, okay, so this is so fun having you here. I'm just so excited. I don't know how long it's been since I've seen you, but the last time I saw you, we had sushi. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do remember the sushi and the little...
Yeah. And then we recorded a video, which I never used it, by the way. It was so fun to watch it, though. I think I watched it like maybe a year ago. But I just was so excited when you texted me saying, hey, I'm going to be in town. And I got all excited, and then I had to stay home because I didn't feel good.
I remember that.
Then I finally came back to work yesterday. But anyway, so you're here now visiting, and I just thought, you know what? Maybe she would like to come and share what she's doing, but not only that, her story, and let people get to know you because you're such an amazing woman. And not only that, I consider you a fighter and an overcomer and a warrior status with the crown, basically. I mean, just like our little crown we got right there, our cute little crown. Oh, yes. You might as well put that on your head.
You know what? That was the first thing that I noticed when I walked in the door. She has a crown.
I did that on purpose. No, you know what we did? That was actually a fundraiser, and not for me, but it was for someone else. And I don't know. You know, you weren't there. They had, the theme was crowns, so we had crowns on our table. It was really cute. And I put lights on everything. So, but it does make me think of royalty because speaking of that, I mean, I don't know what I would have done without. We all talk about it here, Yeshua, Jesus, and some people call Yeshua, Yahusha, which is the real pronunciation I heard through a friend of mine. Can people know you? Like, what's your story? We know you're from the South.
I am from the South.
Tell me that little tidbit about being from the South, because I can hear it in your voice.
Oh, yeah, I'm from the South.
You got a Southern cute accent.
I do have it, and I try to hide it all the time, but it's just impossible to hide.
Sweet Southern charm.
It's a sweet Southern belle.
Yeah, you are.
A sweet Southern belle.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I am from a small town called Gonzales, Louisiana. It's right between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, closer to Baton Rouge, about 40 minutes to New Orleans.
Isn't it in the country, kind of?
It's kind of in the swampy area.
Ooh. You say that, it's like, what do you mean by that swampy area?
Well, it's just kind of moist.
Is it by
there's
the
a lot
bayous?
of water. There's bayous.
Okay.
It's not
like
deep in the bayou.
Real bayous.
But it's real bayous.
Like Anne Rice novels where the vampires used to hang out inside the water?
Yeah.
Dude, I read every single book she wrote. Trust me. That was my girl back in the day.
I love Anne Rice.
Me too. But yeah, she has interesting stuff. Because
interesting thing, and we're talking about my story about Anne Rice, is I grew up in a children's home in New Orleans called St. Elizabeth's.
Oh, you did?
And St. Elizabeth's was on Napoleon Avenue, and it was this huge plantation type of building, but it was right in the middle of the city.
Was it the Garden District?
It's in the Garden District.
I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Oh, it's beautiful over there.
And so she bought, this house was originally an orphanage run by the nuns. And it wasn't originally a Civil War hospital.
Okay.
And so she bought this and
Wow.
she transformed it into luxury apartments. It's beautiful, beautiful.
Oh,
I got to tour there a couple of years ago.
Dude, the next time I'm coming down there, we got to go visit. That is so cool.
It's amazing.
Dude, I feel like when I'm in New Orleans, I'm walking in one of her novels, literally.
I love New Orleans.
I mean, I'm like, I love that place. It's just got this special feeling to it. You know, it's just different. And I just feel home there. It's the weirdest thing.
It's not as safe. It's not safe anymore. It's like gotten to be really crazy
It
lately.
kind of changed, huh?
Yeah, it's changed.
Wow.
But there's still those little nuances in
Yeah.
certain little areas and little bistros.
But
And
speaking of that, because I think part of your story, you were in New Orleans.
it was. And what actually happened was,
Yeah, what happened when you were little?
well, you know, my father was a president of an outlaw motorcycle club.
Not Hell's Angels, right?
Not Hell's Angels, but they were a 1%er club. So they basically had the same type of behavior as an annex and so
Totally.
forth.
So they're like a gang then.
Yeah, they were a motorcycle gang. Yeah. And my mother
How do you
was
grow
a
up in
psychic.
something like that?
Well, it was pretty crazy. It was chaos. It was chaos.
Okay,
in
your
my
mom's a
house.
psychic. Your dad's in a gang.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else could we add to the stew?
So, you know, add to the stew.
That makes me hungry now.
When I was about 4 to 7 years old,
Yeah.
one of the men in my father's motorcycle club, you know, did things to me that shouldn't happen to little girls. Let's just
course
keep
not.
it like that.
You got exploited.
I got exploited at
Yeah.
a really young age. And from that, my mother was very abusive. So I ran away from home. I ran away from home when I was 12 the first time.
Yeah.
They picked me up. They brought me to a juvenile hall. And then they sent me to St. Elizabeth's, which was the house that Anne Rice purchased and made into these luxury apartments. But I often say when I went to St. Elizabeth's, it was the first stability that I had in my life. It was run by nuns. We went to the Catholic schools. We rode the streetcars. It was...
Did you feel like a little bit like a family atmosphere at that place?
I did. The way that they had it situated was like they had divided this house into sections. And each section had... like a mom and dad, like had a married couple that ran that section,
Yeah.
and then the nuns would oversee everything. And we went to Catholic schools, we went to church, we went to all of the, you know.
Would you say you had a relationship with Jesus? Or like a pseudo or like a...
You know, my relationship
Little
with
kids is
Jesus
hard.
started really early.
Yeah.
I think when I got saved, the first time that I got saved, I was 6 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. And I believe that, Tina, because I got saved when I was little too.
My grandmother
And you
was in the
felt it
picture.
here, didn't
yeah,
you?
no, you could
You
feel
know.
it.
Yeah, you know
You
that-
know.
Yeah.
I remember being a little girl and walking. The church bus used to come and get us
Yeah.
where we lived at,
Yeah.
and my mom would let us go, of course, because she wanted to get rid of us or whatever.
Go babysit these kids.
Yeah,
Get out of here. Get on the bus.
And I remember my little self walking up to the altar, you know, and kneeling before the altar and really giving my heart to Jesus. I knew my home was a mess. And
Oh.
I wasn't happy. I was
Yeah.
being abused. And I
Yeah.
really felt it. I can remember that moment. It's the only thing I really kind of remember distinctly.
Did you have... I just can't remember this. Did you have a sister?
I do. I had a
Yeah.
little sister.
Yeah.
I had a little sister, and she went too. And we both got saved that day.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you cry? Do you remember anything?
I don't remember.
I mean,
that
I don't remember
part.
it either, but
I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
But I knew, I felt like it was real. I
Yeah.
remember that.
no, I
part.
believe that because, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I had said this to you a long time ago when I first met you. Man, if you and I were working together back in the day, we would have made some money. We would have been double teaming. I'm sorry, I'm
We
making
would've-
jokes right now.
We would have definitely.
But
We would have been a menace to society.
I know, but you have kindness in you, Tina. So, like, I would have been your friend. Like, I could just see you, like, that meeting you and being like, oh, I like you. Let's go hang out. Like, you're
yes,
cool,
yeah,
dude.
right.
Look, I got a couple calls. Hey, come on. I got this guy he likes, you know. Anyway.
But that's how it is out in the
Yeah.
life. You know, people make it look like it's this horrific thing, which it's a very horrific
It
thing.
is.
But when you're in the middle of it,
Yeah.
it's like
It's
you're
safe
It's
for
safe.
us.
You're in a family
Yeah,
environment. It's like a family environment, a sisterhood.
We know who we can call.
We trust each other. We help each other. We give advice. We protect each other.
We do. And
That's
you know what?
huge.
What's really crazy is the pimps don't even know how close we're getting. And some of them actually, I think they think it's okay because they know if we stay together, we're going to keep making money.
Right. Or then you give the pimp the game about, I'm trying to get her for our family.
Oh, honey, I'm just trying to bring her home.
I'm just trying to bring her home,
baby.
Right,
Come on.
Right.
So, and that was my excuse with all my girlfriends. And even though I never brought them home, I always lied and said, I'm going to bring her home, baby.
I'm
Don't
working
worry.
on it, baby.
Yeah, come on. It takes time. You know what it is. Come on. So interesting. So you knelt at the altar. And then what happened after that? You came home and did life just happen or?
Life just continued to happen at that time.
How long did you go to that school for, or the orphanage? Or
well, I was at St. Elizabeth's from the time I was 12 to about 13 and a half. And I
Probably
ran
not
away.
Long enough, huh?
I ran away from there.
Why
I
did you
was
run
right
away,
before my
Tina?
14th birthday because I thought that I 14 years old, almost 14.
God, puberty's hitting.
Puberty's hitting. And
I
I'm
bet you were
excited
gorgeous.
about Bourbon
Oh, my
Street.
God.
I think I want to see what's down there. And because we
Totally.
used to sneak away from the orphanage and go
It's
over
like
there.
Las Vegas.
Right.
It's
It was like Las Vegas.
You can hear
right.
the music. You're like,
The music and
I can hear the jazz and the.
right. It was so
The alligator
fascinating.
music called, what is that called? The
The
Bayou?
blues,
The blues and
the
then.
blues and the swamp pop. They have some swamp pop.
Swamp pop.
Swamp pop.
Swamp pop.
Yeah, they don't really play that on Bourbon Street, but they do have a lot of swamp pop where I'm from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such an.
And yeah,
You snuck out and you ran
and
away.
I went down there and I ended up meeting a pimp.
Yeah.
I ended up
Did you know
meeting.
he was a pimp though?
Well, I knew he wasn't anything nice. And I remember I used to hang out with the bikers. And so I'd go in this bar, and it was called Funky Butts in New Orleans. And so they knew I was underage.
What's it called now?
Funky, I don't know. I
Funky
think it's called
Butts?
Tropical Isle or something like
wow,
that.
they changed that name. Dang.
So but in the bars in the French Quarter, they have these big windows.
Yeah.
And so I would sit they would open the window. I would sit in the window and they would let me hang out like that. Well, one day.
Because you're cute.
Well, yeah, it was really cute.
I bet you ever the guys are like, hey, let's go in there, Funky Butts.
Yeah, what's up in there? Right, exactly. And so one day I was walking through there and I looked in and there was this guy at the table. He had a 3-piece suit on. He had a brim on. There was a pistol sitting on the table. And I was so attracted. I'm not going to lie.
That's like Gangster 101 right there.
Gangster 101. I
and
just
like
wanted
GQ because he's wearing the
brim
and
and yeah. So
One thing I like about, the old part of the lifestyle for me was back in the 80s, the men dressed up like sharp.
Yes, I loved
like clean and the nice
the suits and the alligator shoes and the brims
hair's
and
done,
the Stetson brims and
And that was one thing that attracted me to my ex-pimp.
Really?
Was the way he dressed and his hair. Yeah.
Yeah, I
he
think
always had it laid out.
I wrote in the book that I was writing. When I came to that part, it was like I saw Daddy. Yeah. That's what I saw. My father was out of the picture, and then sitting down with him and him talking about how he's going to take care of me and how we're going to go party and have so much fun. But he's going to be there for me, and he's going to make sure all my needs are met, and he's going to protect me and love me. And
well, it's a family invite, right?
It's like a family. It's like a family invite, a little bit different. From Street Game. Back then. Mm-hmm. He actually was what they call the Dixie Mafia.
Oh wow!
And the Dixie Mafia controlled prostitution, gambling, drugs, all over Louisiana, Mississippi,
Is it still
Texas.
called that, Tina?
I think that they're mostly disbanded. I'm not entirely sure.
It's really interesting, that name.
Yeah, the Dixie Mafia.
This is like a movie set.
Right.
Like a Bayou movie set.
Right.
With the French Quarter.
Yeah, the French Quarter. And then they had brothels all in the little small towns where they had oil. It was during the oil boom in the late 70s. So they had these little bar rooms and all the little areas where they would drill for oil. And they would have back rooms, and you would go and you would stay there for 10 days at a time.
Wow.
And
because they're coming out of work, right?
They're coming out of work. Yeah, they're coming to work, and when they get off of work, they come to the brothel and
relax.
We take them to the back, and we kind of interesting. We're not really interesting. It makes a lot of sense. They would never let us touch the money. The guy paid the guy at the front.
Right.
Paid the guy at the front, and then when your pimp came and picked you up, then
they would tally you out.
They would tally you out, and they would pay him, not you. They never put your money in your hands.
So you're just
because it wasn't mine; it was his.
Yeah, and did you think, well, maybe he'll buy me a dress or he'll buy me a car? Maybe
in the beginning, it was like he would take you out when they pick you up. You'd party for like 3 days.
Yeah,
they take you shopping. They get your hair done. They buy you clothes.
Dude, they know how to do it, Tina. I swear, if anyone. I
make
want
you feel
everyone,
like a queen.
Yes. I want you to explain that because I don't think people understand when it's a getting in the game for us, whether yours is a different type of time frame or story.
It's the same story though.
It's this Disneyland like
life, something you could only
something that you just. I can't explain it.
I mean, I remember
it's everything you want and everything you've wanted. And they answer that need for that moment.
But what they do, the interesting part is that they get in your head first, and they find out what you like and what you don't like.
They find out where you're hurting,
where you're broken at, and then they use that to excite you.
Did he ask you about your daddy?
He did ask me about my dad.
He knew, didn't he?
He did
probably saw
exactly.
it in your eyes. I could, your eyes are so kind, and you look so like gentle. I can see. I mean, not your vulnerability, but your innocence and the sweetness that God's given you.
Yes, I love that. Thank you.
And you've never lost that. I want to start crying.
Don't cry. I do feel like I was born with this sweetness. I've always trying to take care of people.
Right.
Even in my like when I was trafficked.
Right.
I used to give other girls my money.
Yeah, I can totally believe that. I can see you doing that with me.
Yeah, so
hey,
I would
leave that loser here. I got $5,000. Go take it and run, girl.
Or to keep them from getting beat. Like if they didn't earn enough money, I'd give them some of my money so that they didn't get beat that night.
Yeah.
Explain
that to people. I don't know if they understand that. If you don't meet your quota, what's a quota?
So a quota is when you go out at night, your pimp gives you a certain quota. Yeah. Or for instance, when I was at the brothel, I was there for 10 days. And that was in the late 70s. And I had to make at least $100 a night.
Wow.
And that's a lot of money.
Yeah, in the 70s.
In the 70s, it was a lot of money. And if you don't, then you get beat because that's not what he asked you to do. I recalled in the book that I'm writing that I remember this distinct time. He came to pick me up from the brothel. He got my money. We started driving down through the bayou because this place was in Mississippi, so we had to go the back roads to get there.
You told me one of the places you worked was top secret.
Exactly.
And the sheriff knew about it.
Right.
They were all in on the take.
Yeah, the sheriff and all the people would come. Jeez. But on this particular night, he started shaking the stack of money. How hard is it for you to make $100 a night? And he threw the money at me. He pulled over. He dragged me out of the car. He brought me down to the water. We were driving through Honey Swamp at that time.
Oh, my gosh.
Brought me down to the water. And he held my head underwater. And he pulled me up. And he's tirading on me,
So
how
he was
can you not make
you?
Right, exactly. And then I'll never forget this part. He pulled me up and he said, "Why do you make Daddy do this?"
Yeah, putting it on you.
Why do you make Daddy? Now let's get you cleaned up.
I don't like to do this because I love you.
Right, exactly.
I love you, baby.
And that's what they do. That's what abusers do, and that's what traffickers do.
Gaslighting. That's a classic gaslighting example.
Exactly.
Wow. See, you never told me that story. That's very fresh.
Mm.
So, and you got cleaned up, and then
Got cleaned up.
you're in good
and
graces all of a sudden.
all of a sudden, we're going out to dinner. We're going to party. You know, he's getting
some
me ready.
steak and some lobster and
Right, getting me ready for the next, making sure I get my nails done, my hair done, making sure I'm beautiful so I can go back and make some more money.
yeah. Wow, Tina. There was one other story, and I don't want you to. I feel bad digging because I don't want you to start crying and stuff because I'm. I'm just grateful that you made it. You told me this story one time, and I never forgot it. When you first got turned out, and if people don't know what that means, I'll let you say what that means.
It means that when you first realize what this is about, and so they start getting very brutal at that time to scare you.
Yeah.
And that's like the beginning of the whole cycle of the beating and then the love and then the beating and then the showering with gifts or then some kind of aggression and spoiling you and pampering you with other things.
It's like domestic violence with a 100 or 10 times worse.
Right, exactly.
It's
exactly.
with a sick, twisted additive to it. People don't even understand. Mm. So you got turned out and you said something about going into this back room and being chained.
Well,
and this
really
happens, by the way.
It was, so the scenario really was when we would have customers, and the bell would ring and everybody would come to the living room and you would show up and then you would go with your date and you were not allowed to drink.
What do you mean by date? Let's describe that to the audience. So
you would go with your trick and you would go to the back room.
Your John, your Mark.
Your John.
The guy that's buying sex.
Right, the guy that's buying sex.
The trafficker. Right. One of the traffickers.
Right, and you would go back to the back room and you would do whatever he had paid you to do. I was a very, like you said at the beginning, chatty Cathy. And I was miserable. And I had that addictive personality and I wanted to drink. So my goal in life was to get them to get drinks to bring back to the back. And I got really drunk one night and I said I was leaving. And I tried to leave. And they locked me up in this room and they put these handcuffs onto a chain around this thing.
Yeah. Like the bed, like the brass bed thing, or
something like that
to hold you there,
to hold me there, and so and I stayed there and waited for my man to come so that he could discipline me,
reprimand you.
And so when it was time to discipline me, they would call all the girls to the living room, and then he went to proceed to beat me for hours at a time in front of these people, in front of these other girls to prove a point,
to scare them too,
and exactly. And it happened. It wasn't just me that it happened to. There were other girls that worked there that their pimps were called and they were disciplined in front of the rest of the girls.
And then you had said that he brought men in. There was another incident where you got tied to the bed and all these men came in and
I got drunk,
and you just had to lay there and take it.
Yes.
It's terrible, Tina.
Yes.
I want to know something. How does your mind and your soul separate that from what's happening? Because there's no way you can sit there and just let that happen. I mean, besides being drunk,
you just kind of have to check out.
Yeah,
you just
have let's describe what that is, because that's disassociation.
Yeah, you just check out and you just start. You're like disconnected with your body.
Yeah, it's
like not your body, and your mind is going to another place, and you're not experiencing what's going on with your body at that time.
Yeah.
It's classic dissociation.
Yeah.
It's the only way you can survive an event like that. Absolutely.
I don't know. I just don't know how anyone can, but look at you. You're here and you're just like, tell me later, like What happened with this pimp, and then what happened next in your life?
What happened was that, like as I got to be a little bit older, I was only 14 at that time.
I mean, you were a baby.
A baby. So, at about 16, almost 17.
A 14-year-old girl.
Right. What do you?
I look at them now and I'm like, I got these kids that living next door to me, and my husband, and I talk to them a lot. We laugh. And
yeah.
They got a little brother and stuff, and I'm like, how old are you? 14. I'm like, going, how? And you just said 14. And in my mind, I'm going,
yeah,
no way, dude.
Yeah, 14, and I looked like a woman at 14.
You're a baby.
I was a little bit overdeveloped as a young girl, so I looked like a woman. So
I seen pictures of you. You're beautiful still, but you're beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, like, and you still look the same.
I don't. I wish I looked the same.
I mean, I'm a little older, but
I wish I looked the same.
We still look good, girl.
We do look.
We
good.
still got it.
We do still got it. But after that, I think that I had to get away from him. I knew that I had to get away from him. So he had me in his bar. One night, a customer came in and they had some drugs.
Okay, we have to stop. I totally. You guys are going to kill me, everybody. Yes. Okay, let's do this. Let's do part 2.
Okay.
You guys, we're going to stop at the bar scene when
Okay.
you're going to leave him. Tina, tell him where. You got like 30 seconds. Look at that camera. Tell him how to get a hold of you. Your website,
my
all
website.
your stuff.
So I am the founder of Queens of Digital Marketing, and the website, the Queens of Digital Marketing. Remember, you said I was a queen,
Yep.
right? Our website is queensdm.org, or you can email me at tina@queensdm.org. That's QUEENSDM.org. It's a real easy website.
And thank you, Tina. I'm going to see you soon.
Yes, you're going to see me
And
very soon.
I love you.
I love you too.
I can't wait to hear the rest. And we're going to talk about the other good things you're doing. And my friends, I want to thank you for coming on Annie's Pink Chair. My name is Annie Lobert, and we'll see you next time. Hi, friends. I wrote a book called Fallen Out of the Sex Industry and Into the Arms of the Savior, because I had to tell my story about what happened to me in Las Vegas as a high-class call girl. But because of this book, inside is a story about Destiny House. I started reaching out to the girls on the strip. They had nowhere to go. I ended up starting the Destiny House, which is a place where we bring ladies and they get completely healed from the traumas and the tortures of being trafficked for years. It's a place where they can come dream again, discover who they are, develop into that beautiful woman of God He created them to be, and then develop into God's perfect destiny that He has for them, a life of beautiful surprise, hope, and brilliance. And my friends, to donate, to help us keep going, go to pinkchair.org, click donate, or hookersforjesus.net. Click donate, and you'll help us keep our mission strong and going. Thank you so much.